Alright, so first full day with the Tissot PRX automatic on the wrist. This is the Tissot PRX reference. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to say the reference number. No one says those numbers. No way. PRX, blue dial, automatic, Powermatic 80. First day, and I'm in love with it so far. The dial, look at that. Fantastic. So first thoughts, really comfortable, doesn't pinch hairs, feels pretty solid. I mean, you can hear a little rattle. That's just because I like wearing it loose. The bracelet's pretty sturdy. It's not like a ton of play, but it's just enough to make it comfortable. Yeah, size-wise, it just fits perfect. It's nice. It kind of has some heft to it. So you're going to notice it on your wrist, but it's not going to make you feel like you're holding a weight. It's just the right heft to make it feel quality, luxury, very nice. I think this is a great entry point into the Swiss luxury market. $650 is a fair price for this. Look at that finishing. I love the way that the bracelet plays with the light. I got quite a few lights here, and you can just see how it transfers from one link to the next. It's almost like snake-like. I love that feature. There's not too many different types of polishing or satin polish. Most of it's brushed. You can tell this little bezel here is polished, and there's like this little ridge here that's polished. That's mirror polish. It's nice. It gives it a good look. The butterfly clasp is perfect. 2-button. And it's always a pet peeve of mine. Even the high-end brands do this, where you have to do one then the other, and you can never remember. I don't know. It bothers me. I don't know if I'd ever buy one like that. Maybe I'm just crazy, but this one doesn't matter which order you do it in. They just fit right together real nice. I think an 80-hour power reserve is a nice thing to have. Even most high-end Swiss watch brands don't really have that. That's what you get when you go with a big corporation, though, so that's a plus. Swatch Group for the win there. Some people like it, some people don't, but the date wheel is not the same tone as the dial, or even close. It's quite a departure. I kind of like it. You have your applied indices, that's nice. You have the little applied square around the date wheel, around your date. That's nice. I think it's a perfect middle ground between sports watch and, I'm not going to say dress watch, but you can definitely dress this up quite a bit. This can definitely be a very versatile piece. This is a great one watch collection piece, minus the screw down crown, which it does not have. So that might be a deal breaker for some people for one watch fits all, but for me, I don't go swimming with my watches. I don't trust it. I have some G-Shocks that I'm willing to throw in the water, Also, another possible negative, this is pretty obvious from the start, could be a plus or a minus for you, integrated bracelet. They're kind of jumping on the bandwagon. I think we all know what this is trying to look like a little bit. That's just the way it goes in the watch industry. This isn't a copy of anything. If anyone ever tries to say it's a copy of anything, in my opinion, they're not thinking the right way about this watch. But from a distance, not even a distance from anyone normal's perspective, this is just a high-end watch. It's nice. I think that it's a great entry point. Great brand, great styling, great quality. I think they hit this one out of the park. Some notes on the movement. It is the Tissot Powermatic 80.111, based on the ETA 2824-2, which has bidirectional winding, a 38-hour power reserve, and it beats at 28,800 beats per hour, which equates to a 4 Hz beat rate, which is then reduced to a 21,600 beats per hour, which equates to a 3 Hz beat rate, which helps to create an 80-hour power reserve on the Powermatic 80. The Powermatic 80 has 23 joules, hacking and hand wind, center seconds, minutes, and hours with a date complication at 3 o'clock. It has 10 bar, 100 meter, 330 feet water resistance with no screw down crown, and it also features a Nivacron hairspring or balance spring, not the silicium or silicon one featured in other Tissot watches. It was supposedly built to be more resistant to magnetism, shock, aging, and to stabilize performance in more extreme temperatures. The Nivacron alloy, which is supposedly made mainly of titanium, was likely produced by Swatch Group's Nivarox balance spring maker. Also, it was supposedly a team effort with AP in 2010, later unveiled in 2019. Lastly, some pros and cons on the PRX Powermatic 80. The watch has a 100 meter water resistance, which is good and bad because 100 meters is pretty good but not fantastic, and the watch features no screw-down crown. The watch also features a Nivacron hairspring, but it does not feature the silicium or silicon hairspring featured in other Tissot watches. The watch features an in-house movement based on the ETA 2824-2, but it is not a chronometer movement. The watch has an 80-hour power reserve. It features center seconds, minutes, and hours with a date complication, but the date complication is the only one. There's not other complications to this movement, which is good and bad. It features a flat sapphire crystal, which appears to have an AR coating of some sort. It has a waffle dial, which is good and bad, depending on if you like it and if you like what it is attempting to pay homage to, in my opinion. The watch is paying homage to the 1978 Sea Star integrated bracelet from Tissot, and it comes in at a little less than twice the price of the quartz movement version. Not having a quartz movement makes this watch good and bad because of the fact that the watch needs to be maintained in a different way, but everyone loves a good automatic movement. On the downside, the watch features pin sizing links, not screw links. The watch also appears to be jumping on the Steel Sports integrated bracelet trend, which could be good or bad. Some final thoughts on the PRX Powermatic 80. After thinking about it for some time, the bracelet reminds me of the chance that I had to try on the Bulgari Octo Roma. It's definitely reminiscent of that, in my opinion, and I think that it's a good comparison, even though they're totally different price ranges, for the feeling at least. I really enjoy this watch so far. I don't feel that it's a complete homage to any high-end Swiss brand like Audemars Piguet. Definitely not the Patek Nautilus. I think that it jumps on the same bandwagon that those are on, but it offers a completely different deal. It's its own thing, but it fills that same market space for the lower-end consumer. There's definitely room out there to not buy a $50,000 AP Royal Oak steel sports watch, but also not buy a fake one. There's some in-between level, and I think the Tissot fills that perfectly, and it's a great value for what it is. I also have grown to love the integrated bracelet and the way it flows into the case. It really has a different feel than a lot of watches that do not have integrated bracelets, and I definitely think that it is worth the hassle of not having an easy bracelet swap out or strap swap in. I think it's worth it, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything I don't love about this watch so far, other than maybe the water resistance, but that's really not too big of a deal to me. I think that this watch really does well at everything it's trying to do well at, and it's great for that. I hope this review was helpful to you, and I hope that you came away knowing more about this watch as I did in making this video, and I hope that I was able to convey this information in an enjoyable way. Thank you very much for watching, and if you want to hear the interesting story about how I obtained this watch, stay tuned for the last few minutes of this video. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Now for how I obtained this watch. After hearing about it online and seeing pictures as well as videos, I was very interested in the Tissot PRX and got the chance to try it on a couple times at various places. Then one day I was walking through a local mall and I walked into a Tissot AD. What do you know, they had the blue dial Powermatic 80, which is the first time I had seen that in person, so I had to try it on, ask some questions, and was approached by an older salesperson Seemed to be a very nice guy. But one thing I didn't like about this interaction was he told me that someone was coming in, I believe he stated tomorrow, someone was coming in to purchase this watch. Me being me, didn't believe this very much. The best price they could offer was 10% off retail. And I was on the edge of buying at this point, but that just threw me the other way. And I said, well, I'm not going to take that out from under someone. It's the only one you have. If someone said they're going to come back and buy it, well, I'm not going to take that opportunity away from them. But about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I was walking back through the mall. I was there for something else, and I decided, hey, I should walk through this AD again. And what do you know? What I believe to be the same watch was sitting there in the case in the same position. A few things are running through my mind, and all of a sudden, the same salesperson who had spoken to me before came back up to me and said, oh, can I help you with anything? And I said, okay, yeah, I'd like to see this PRX Powermatic 80 again. He pulls it out and he says, oh, this is my favorite watch. It's like the hottest watch in the world right now. I said, oh, yeah, it looks like you got this in a few weeks ago, right? Oh, yeah, we just got it in. Yeah, I guess a few weeks ago. And I said, well, it looks like your other buyer must have fallen through on you. And he kind of looked at me for a second, and he must have realized that he had told me this story when he first showed me the watch. I think it clicked at this point. He said, yeah. I'm not sure what happened there. And yeah, and I said, listen, you offered me 10% then. I wasn't interested at 10%. I'll tell you what, I'll buy it right now for 25% off. And he looks at me and he said, I don't think I can do 25%. Best I could do is 15. And I said, no, I'm not going to take 15. I'll tell you what, my lowest I can go is 20%. And he crunches some numbers and he said, well, yeah, if I was to give it to you, it'd be this price and then taxes. And I said, yeah, I would take it at that. And we reached an agreement and he said, you have a deal. Ended up being a really nice guy, but it just goes to show you there was a chance. There was an off chance I would have bought that thing for 10% off 2 weeks earlier. But I'm not a fan of that sales tactic. And I'll give the guy the benefit of the doubt. It just seems too good to be true on their part. I have my doubts that it ever happened. So if you take away anything from this, just know that in a lot of settings, it is very common to request a discount. And if you know your stuff pretty well, you can probably get a better discount than most other places, at least in my experience.